All right, in this half hour, I really just want to talk about Hub and the idea of Hub, and then try to give you some examples, show you some examples, and then actually get into the software and show you the basics of getting things going. So organizations, whether they're cities, counties, states, whatever, want to become smarter, whether that means being more healthy or prosperous or safe or whatever it might be. But they face these challenges because information sharing is not as simple as it once was, and governments haven't always modernized their information sharing, but they're faced with citizens who really care about, or stakeholders that really care about the region or the geography. And governments and entities really need to disseminate information faster and better. A lot of times entities have initiatives. They're trying to solve a need, right? Whether that need is about, like we said, safety or health or whatever. And to be these effective, those efforts really need to be a collaborative effort across government agencies, communities, businesses. And so these idea of initiatives, are used to guide government to make that successful. And now we'll talk more about initiatives that we have available through the hub, but the idea of them is to really help bring that structure to a particular need that the community might have. Sometimes getting that information to help focus down to a specific need is difficult for entities, whether they be cities, towns, counties, states, whatever it might be. They don't have the resources necessarily to bring all this information together and in a way that is focused and really easy for people to navigate. And that really, you have this idea of when you get all the way out to the public, moving from left to right here, the audience grows, and the need for that sort of focus really grows, and it's hard it can be hard to really maintain some order and make it easy for people to find what they need. Now, what you really want is not sort of an unfocused, we'll throw everything out there, but something that really is more collaborative and for having people work together, whether it be city or county or state leaders, community leaders, staff, businesses, etc., all working together to really solve a problem or to fill a need. So we have this solution, and that's called ArcGIS Hub. And Hub is an easy to configure cloud platform for organizations to collaborate with those communities and to accomplish these information-driven initiatives. We've tried to make this system easy to use, so it's browser-based, and it sits on top of ArcGIS Online. So all of you with ArcGIS Online have this ability. And Hub offers a set of templates and tools to support that series of goals, objectives, etc. So let's move on and let's start getting into what it can do for you. Well, the real goal of Hub is to give you that focus, to tie things together, to organize things, and to give you a way to help rally engagement around that initiative. Some of the things that Hub can do, or some of the things you may be familiar with, certainly you may be familiar with data sharing or open data. If you have Hub, and we'll get into this a little more, you can create as many open data sites as you want from your ArcGIS Online organization. Call that Hub Basic. It doesn't only have to be data sharing, but that's one of the key things, and that was the first thing I think that we started with, is the ability to really put data out there in an organized way. In a very simple way, and maybe we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But also, these Hub initiatives or sites can really engage the public and help the public to collaborate. They can take feedback from the public because you can do things like embed surveys, put maps and apps and other things in those Hub pages. You can also, we'll talk more about this, but with Hub Premium, have a community and events and things like that to help really tie this together and to get the community involved, not only get feedback, but actually really get participation from the stakeholders. You can also do things like inspire action, right? So they can have videos and they can really help bring focus on that initiative and help encourage people to really participate in that. So I wanted just to give you a couple examples. I'm going to open up a browser. And I'm just at this hub page, hub.arcgis.com. That's sort of the key URL to know. And I'm just here in the gallery. And I wanted to show you some of these. You can do this anytime yourself. You don't need to be logged in to do this, but here's that gallery. And you can see some of the organizations that are using Hub. Maybe I'll go right to this New Haven, City of New Haven mayor's page. And you can see that this has links to other sites. In this case, it's a link to another Hub site focused on COVID-19. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But you can also see there's a welcome video, there's some maps, there's some other embedded content, Twitter feeds, all this stuff really to help bring things together in one place for people to find and to work with easily. That's one example. And we could, oops, didn't mean to do that. Hold on one sec. Go back to that gallery. And you could pick something that maybe is a little more focused, like this Arlington, Texas performance management, where they've broken it down into different focus areas, investing, mobility, neighborhoods, all these different initiatives. And you can explore any of those by clicking on it and getting more information about that. All right, so that'll load up with different statistics or applications or all kinds of dashboard things that you see here, right? So really a great way to bring things together and to help people find what they need. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Now, as I mentioned, you all have access to ArcGIS Hub, and you don't really have to do anything except have an ArcGIS Online organization. And if you go to hub.arcgis.com, you can sign in with those same credentials, and you can, if you have privileges to do so, you can create an open data site. You can spin up some initiatives that we've made available to everyone around COVID-19. And you can create your own blank project or initiatives as well. That's what we call Hub Basic. And as I mentioned, you all have access to that. There is another license level called Hub Premium, which adds a few other things to it. It adds many other ready-to-use initiatives around planning and Vision Zero and safety and health and other things like that that we tried to build out for our community, and we use experts in the field to help us build out what is useful. But you can also get to have followers. People can choose to follow an initiative when you have Hub Premium, and in that way they become a member of that community, and you can communicate with them. You can push emails to them, for instance, and you can have things that are private only for followers if you wanted. Perhaps some followers are helping to collect data for some sort of data collection effort. You may want them to have credentials, and you do that using this followers, and the followers also lets you. The premium license also gives you the ability to have events and manage events within the Hub ecosystem, and also gives you this sort of goes with followers, but gives you this idea of what we call a community organization. So you may have an ArcGIS Online organization, but with Hub Premium, you get another organization that is meant only for community members that are part of your Hub initiatives or following your Hub initiatives. And in so doing, that's how you can make things, specific to just followers. You can give them rights to use some of the tools that we see in ArcGIS Online, and actually give them access to private surveys or applications or things like that. So Hub Premium adds those things on top of what Hub Basic lets us do. Okay. Now, let's just take a look at this. As I mentioned, Hub is laid on top of ArcGIS Online, and you can see here the basic license in the middle on the right here, and then the premium license above, and you can see some differences where the things that ArcGIS Hub adds on top, premium adds on top of basic. But I don't want to you to walk away thinking that there's nothing if you're running ArcGIS Enterprise, the portal in Enterprise, because there is this idea of something called ArcGIS Enterprise Sites. And Sites is very similar, shares a lot of characteristics with the idea of the Hub Basic. You can build pages out, and you can put apps attached to those pages. I don't know why dashboards isn't down there, but you can add all kinds of things into that enterprise site. So there is a solution for ArcGIS Enterprise Portal. It does not have this followers and teams and the set of initiatives that you might you'll see in ArcGIS Online's version of Hub Premium, and we'll take a look at that and what those initiatives are that you can see. But there is something to allow you to create pages and build out informational sites, etc. Okay, I would encourage you, I mean, many of you probably have started by doing open data. And that's sort of an easy one where you can mark data sets available for open data and then spin up an open data page and have people be able to search and download and things like that. But you know, as you move forward in terms of time investment, you can get into specific projects or engagements with the stakeholders or public, and then, you know, ultimately things that involve two-way engagement. So not only are you pushing information out to citizens or to the stakeholders, but they're able to not only feed back information to you, but engage in the process. And that's a sort of a full, using the full power of Hub Premium. And that, you know, this is a continuum, right? And you're going to start, you may have already started here, and you'll move sort of across that as you can. All right, so let's take a look at, I'm going to quit out of PowerPoint. We'll bring up my browser, and we'll talk a little bit about, let me close some of these. Okay, so here I am in the Hub, and I'm logged in. Now, I happen to have Hub Premium, and I'll point out where the differences are, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the overview, and it's going to allow me to look at initiatives I have, and you can see I have a few of them. Some of them are open data, some of them are just initiatives that sort of are focused, that I focused on for its efforts. But let's look at how we create a new one. So you come here and you would say, I want to create a new one, and you can create a blank one, and it'll lay down some basics of a web page for you, and you fill it in. Or you can browse templates, and those templates come from Esri or other places, but I see 17 choices. If you have Hub Basic, you'll see about 5 or 6. A couple related to COVID-19. For instance, the business continuity is available to everyone. The recovery is available to everyone. The response is available to everyone. These are all available to you. These other things that you see here, I think grocery is also available to everyone. But things about economy and other ones, some of these are only available to Hub Premium subscribers, like performance management, vector-borne diseases. And these actually lay down a whole sort of set of tools, potentially lay down tools, but also lay down a framework for you to build out a web page and communicate with people. Here's that open data one, as I mentioned, and that is shared, that everyone has access to that as well. And you see one for Vision Zero, opioid, etc. Now, actually, I've I don't want to create a new one. So let's go back and let me open one I've already opened to save us a little time. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to manage my initiatives. And I just yesterday created this one. It's the Coronavirus Response Hub site. Now, these are not the solutions that Mark talked about. This is a hub site. Now, the hub site may include or point to solutions. In some cases, it lays down some maps and things for you. This one does not. It is sort of a skeleton for you to put things into, but it does give you a great starting point to bring information around coronavirus response together. And so I'm going to scroll through it. This interface probably looks familiar to you if you've done any work with the open data pages that you may have done. I can scroll down. You can see that it's pulling statistics from, I believe this is the Johns Hopkins feature layer. And then it has, this is we'll come back to this. This is a gallery of apps and it's not yet filled in. And then there's some informational images and text that it's put up for you or for you to use. And I won't waste all our time here, but you can see that. And then it has a Twitter feed from the CDC for you and other things. Here's a link to, you need to fill in this link because right now it goes nowhere, but local closures, that would maybe come from deploying the response solutions because there's a local closures app. And then a mayor's update could link to anything. And then again, some links. Now the thing is, this is all editable by me. So if I want, I can delete things or add things. I can change this, the text here, right? So if I don't want that, I'll be like NEARC, oops, what happened there? Right, and now I don't have to know any kind of HTML for this. I'm just, I can just edit it. The other thing I can do is delete things. I can move things around. So if I want to switch places, you can see I can drag and drop. And there's a whole layout page, and these are the kinds of things that I can add to this page. So I could add images or banners or text or surveys from survey 123, a map or an app. I could embed an iframe. You can see the whole things that are here, a video, social media feeds, etc. You'll notice that this one here is a gallery, an application gallery. That's this guy here. And right now, it's just like 4 empty rows, 4 empty tiles. And you can see that it basically, there's nothing yet shared with, it hasn't found any applications to put in here in the groups that I've specified. So I could add another group. I think I made one the other day called NEARC apps. There it is. So I'm just going to add that to this little gallery, and it's immediately found apps in that group. And just by doing that, I've asked it to lay out 4 tiles, and it's done that for me. And they're ready to go, right? So very simply, I can actually modify this and change it and work with it to do that. It becomes very, very easy to do. Let me save this. Now, right now, this initiative or this hub initiative is private. I can share it with others in my organization if I want to maintain just to keep it inside the organization, or I can share it with the public. And one thing I'll just mention about the public, let's say that for some reason this community impact dashboard, I didn't make public, but I shared with my organization. Well, if I make this site public, when the public goes to this page, they will not see this tile because it's not public. But if someone who's logged in goes to this page and they have permissions to see it, they will see it. So in some ways, you can actually build it such that if you're logged in, you're going to see it, and if you're not logged in, you won't see everything, which can be important because you may not want every app exposed and seen for everybody, which is kind of nice. Okay, so if you look here, you can see that I can actually add other people to the team that's building this out. So I could go to teams And I have this Team NEARC that I built, and I could go to Team NEARC, and I could add Mark is in there, I'm in there. Maybe I want to add another person, and we'll just add Andrew. Okay, so now he's a member of my team and can come here and edit this, work with me on this initiative. And I can also add pages if I want. This only has one page, but I can add as many pages as I want to this and put other content on other pages as needed. So that's another thing that we can do. You can have as many pages and as many initiatives as you want, but within one initiative, you can have many pages. Maybe you have different links here that take you to different, sub areas of the actual initiative. Focused on recovery, focused on business, focused on health, etc. You could do that. You could do that as well. Let's see. You see I have one page, and as I mentioned, I could add a new page, and we'll call this second page. And just to show you how this works, I now have a second page, and it's sort of stubbed out for me the basics here, but I have those same layout tools that I had before. And I mentioned that you can actually have events if you have Hub Premium, so I can specify an event. Like here, I can create an event. I could put an image on it. I don't have one handy, but we could just make this a happy hour, right? And I could put this, I can actually say when it is and where it is on the map, or maybe it's virtual, and then I can publish it if I want into my website. So now I could say, go to layout, and I could add an event, upcoming events, featured event. We'll just scroll down and put it right here. And then I'm going to select the event. And I think only because it's still private, or I didn't save it, I would select it and it would show up. It would show up here. I didn't do that exactly right, but I hope you get the idea there. And also the idea of following, I think this is important with Hub Premium. You have the ability to set up where people can actually follow this initiative. And when they follow it, let me save this and let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I want to edit one thing. I'm going to make this public for the moment, and we'll save that. And then I want to view it as I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to go into a. This is it doesn't know that I'm logged in, right? So you see, I have this option to follow, right? And if I choose that, if I have an existing ArcGIS Online account, I can use it. If I want to use Facebook or Google credentials to create that account, I can do it, or I can create a brand new account. And when I do that, I become a follower of this. And then as an administrator or a person who's building this out, I can actually go and look at that community. No followers in this event yet, but I can look at the whole community org if I want. So if I go here and look at the community, you can see that I have 4 members of my community, just a few for testing here. But I can message them. You can see here, manage and message. I sign in because I'm an administrator. Let's see if I got that right. Yeah, actually there are 8 community members, and now I can choose to message a few of them if I want, right? And I could send them a message. So I can interact with them and do really great things to build out that hub. And so just getting back to Hub here for a minute. To the main page here. Let me go back to overview. You can spin up initiatives, right? And you can create blank ones, or you can use templates. And again, if you have just the basic, you'll see coronavirus related ones, you'll see open data, and you'll see sort of a blank one that you can build out for yourself. So that's really, really useful to see. I have just a few more. I think actually, what time are we at? 2:10. I don't really have any more slides. I do want to, as everyone has said, I do want to mention the Boston Office Hub. As it's been said in other sessions, every regional office has got their own hub. So you can, I'll put this URL up here in a minute, but if you go goesri.com/Boston Hub, it'll take you to our office's hub, where we try to bring our community together, right? The Boston office, sort of Northeast community, Esri community. And so you'll see these different pages that we set up. This is sort of the landing page, and it has some information. There's something about the office, of course. There's something about events. Here's today's event. There's some other things going on throughout the region. We try to give you sort of news stories of worth. We try to bring in things from the community, right? So when you tell us, oh, I've got a really cool app that I want to highlight or something, we are happy to try to add it to this gallery, right? There's the following. I'm already following, so I don't need to do it, but I can be a member of it, and then there's some information, I think, around doing some development stuff as well. So this is, if I go back to my slides, just to finish up here, from current slide. Nope, that's not the current slide. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. So as I said, that's our hub site, go.esri.com/Boston Hub. Not too hard to remember. And we encourage you to follow that hub initiative so that we can communicate with you about things that are going on. There are links within that hub site for you to submit things that you want to see on the hub. So again, if you have interesting things you want to share, you'll find links to let us know about them, and then we'll, hopefully put them on the website. I hope that was a good or decent introduction to the idea of Hub, the fact that you all have access to it, the fact that it's meant to bring everyone, bring a group of stakeholders together around an initiative or a focus, whether it be data sharing or COVID-19 or some other project that you may want to focus on. Thanks for listening. Hope that was helpful.